Hi everyone, this feels really bizarre, but I'm filming a full-blown, updated makeup tutorial, and this is just one of my everyday makeup routines. I have around 3 or 4 now, but I felt like doing this one today, and it's been a year since I filmed my very first one, and a lot has changed. So here is my bare naked face filled with discoloration, sparse brows, uneven eyelids, just everything. As you can see, I'm not perfect. I always moisturize first. Today I'm using Clinique's Dramatically Different Moisturizing Lotion. I squirt around 1.5 pumps of this and I just spread it all across my face, making sure I don't leave out any random spots to make sure everything is moisturized. After that's down, I put some sunscreen on. I'm using Shiseido's oil-free UV protector. See? Guys, I said Shiseido right this time. Anyway, I shake the living crap out of it because it says to shake, and then I begin to apply it on. I'm beginning to really like how watery this consistency is because it just feels really, just doesn't feel thick underneath my skin, which is something I can really appreciate. I can't forget to moisturize my lips, so I'm using Nivea's Milk and Honey, and it's a great balm, one that absorbs quickly and smells bomb. Now moving on to foundation, I'm using Makeup Forever's HD Foundation in N20. This foundation is something I bought a few months ago when I realized that my previous foundation was just completely off. A little bit goes a long way, so I'm glad I splurged on it. And I first just apply it, just all across my face, and then I'll use this Sigma Flat Kabuki stippling brush, and then I just kind of buff it all across my face to make sure everything is just evenly on my skin. For under eye concealer, I'm using Maybelline's Instant Age Rewind Eraser Dark Circles. This one is in light, and I use this underneath both my eyes. And as I will demonstrate, I use it underneath my eyes and on the bridge of my nose to create more dimension, I suppose. Not sure if it makes a vast difference, but I don't know, it's the thought that counts. Then I use my second Maybelline Age Rewinder in the shade Medium as just a regular concealer. And then I apply that underneath my lips, the corners of my nose, and just some random spots. And then I just continue to blend all the way out. After that's finished, instead of powdering, I like to move right into bronzer. I use NYC's Sunny to add some goldenness to my skin. And I use a large angled contour brush to apply this. And I know a lot of people use bronzer after they've powdered, but I like to put it on before because that way it doesn't rub off throughout the day. And when I put it first, the powder just seems to seal it in and I never have to reapply it. And for application, I just make kind of a 3 shape on my cheeks, and I guess that's it. It's time for powder now. I'm using NARS's translucent powder, and I use a fluffy blending brush first to apply it underneath the delicate parts of my skin, like underneath my eyes, and also just the hard to get corners, like in between my nose and around my mouth. And then after I've got all the details, then I move in with my large powder brush, and then I just apply it all across my face, and then it just locks everything in place and seals all my hard work. Moving on to brows. Unfortunately, I was not blessed with strong brows, so I'm just gonna draw them in. I'm using Dark Horse from the Naked palette, and I'm using a freaking paintbrush that I got at Michael's around 2 years ago. Whatever works, right? Then I'm going to just apply the Dark Horse on just the meat of my brows, if that makes sense. Don't even touch the edges. Just work on just the place where there's the most hairs, and then you're done. I'm just kidding. Then I'm gonna go in with Anastasia's Brow Wiz, and then I'm gonna really get in that brow action by just physically drawing the eyebrows. If you don't have brows, whatever, just draw them in and you gotta just make it work. And just look at that face of concentration. I don't know what to say. Then I use my spoolie to blend it all out. And then I like to set my brows with this No Name brow gel. I can't remember where I got it. It was either Rite Aid or CVS, but this thing used to be clear. So let's zoom into the eye makeup stuff. I first use Urban Decay's Eye Primer Potion. I got this off Outlook and I got it for really cheap because it's still in that old bottle. And then I add a little bit to each eye and then I try to blend this out to the best of my abilities. And now my eyes are